Welcome back to DM-Nastics, the gym for dungeon masters to work out their minds. I'm one of your hosts, DM Neil, aka Jote Maniac.
And it's me, your other host, DM Celeste, aka Sea Witch.
Okay, staring contest. Don't blink. You don't know.
You don't know. It's a it's a trick. I'm still not blinking. You can't tell.
One of my favorite, and I almost don't like calling them monsters, but one of my favorite creatures, yes, we'll go with that, is the blink dog. So I created a exercise called Don't Even Blink. And basically, it just harkens back to our Raw Real Monsters episode about blink dogs and building a campaign around them. Mm-hmm. That's always an interesting thought exercise. It's like, okay, so that's a cool monster. Or you have a party member who really likes that. And you're just going to play into it. Because I've gotten to the point where I'm almost doing like mini arcs for individual players at this point. Like I can kind of be like, okay, you know, your backstory fits the most here. Like right now I have a player who's chose to be kind of a member of the SBI, the Salt Marsh Bureau of Investigation.
Incredible.
And
incredible.
And so a while ago they had solved a mystery.
Yeah.
But it's been a little while since I've tapped into like that resource for me in particular. So now we're back on that arc. But I like this as well of like, okay, blink dogs are cool, but if you don't do more, then they were just like this one-off.
Yeah.
Same with the Displacer Beast, which is obviously listeners know that's my favorite of all time, which obviously is going to play into this. But what did we do for this exercise?
Yeah, so for this one, we went to the forums and we asked some questions. So obviously, let's build a campaign in Diambe centered on blink dogs. So we had some questions. 1, what went wrong with the blink dogs and drew the party's attention? 2, how will they resolve this for the blink dogs? 3, what happens if the PCs aren't able to or choose not to help? And then, of course, 4, you do you.
Okay, we got a couple options here. Did one of them stand out a little bit more to you?
Let's see. I mean,
are we going to try and fold them together?
We could. Okay, so there are details I like in both of these. Sword Spear's response was, I just really like that he made a whole pack of like poodle blink dogs. The blink dog poodle pack is a phrase that is used in there, and I love that. I love that so much. And then the other answer from Letterlost, the detail I loved here is that he made a bunch of Saint Blinkards.
Yep.
So they're St. Bernard dogs in this giant pack that help people. And they're led by one named Bunny. Bunny is the leader of the pack, and he has long floppy ears and is very cute. So I think I was just too consumed by the cuteness to pick a favorite of either of these.
I mean, and of course they both did it, but it does hit on like one of my biggest pieces of advice about blink dogs or Displacer Beasts or things like that. You have so many different, breeds of dogs and cats that you can switch into. I will put the caveat. What I often see is that, okay, so if it is different, like what are the mechanically different things that I need to do? It's not necessary to do that. Just in the sense that like it overcomplicates it for you, the person designing this for your table, as well as in a way overcomplicating it for the players. I think you can get really far by very subtle changes mechanically with huge changes visually.
Yeah, I mean, just think about it. There's a dog stat block, and that's fine. You don't need a different dog stat block for, your little terrier versus your bloodhound. It's all there.
Yeah, and huge shout out. I mean, head over to Kill Every Monster, where you can hear me wax poetically for a long time about the Displacer Beast, having read the original inspiration of the 1950s sci-fi of the coral and all of these things. But my thing is like fixing it just in general.
Yeah.
And I would do the same with the blink dogs. If the second you're doing this with a campaign, but no matter what, like you have to dig into that system's mechanics and then change it. Because like, I think that the Displacer Beast and Blink Dog in 5th edition are obscenely underpowered for what they just do in general. Like the biggest one for me is that there's no like additional attacks for the Displacer Beast. There's not like bite, claw, or tentacle. You're not doing pouncing. You're not doing anything. And the same with the Blink Dog. It's like, this thing is wild. Yeah, it typically would need a pack, but then you go from there and it's like, okay, so what's a pack leader blink dog? Yeah. Well, there's all these layers that you can add to make them an entire campaign.
I will say, for those who are curious, in Tales of the Valiant, because we did revisit and redo all the SRD D&D monsters, so we gave the Blink Dog quite a few glow-ups. So it has Fey Resilience also, too, on top of it. It has Pack Tactics. We gave it a bunch of, tracking abilities. We kind of buffed its teleports and its ability to bite. We also made it so it's as intelligent as a human. So its intelligence score is nice and up there now. And they can be familiars in Tales of the Valiant as well, so...
Yes. Yeah, and
we also wrote some cool stuff in there that they're phase spiders are their natural enemies and they hate them, and it's a whole thing. Yeah.
I like that just as well as the Displacer Beast, because I did a lot of research prior to that. Yeah.
We couldn't do Displacer Beast because it's not in the SRD.
Absolutely. But it works on the same fundamental reason.
Yeah.
Or at least the reason in my head canon as to why the Displacer Beast and the Blink Dogs don't like each other is that they're literally operating on opposing frequencies. Yep. So the displacement genuinely bothers the Blink, and the Blink just bothers
it's like hearing a dog whistle all the time.
I love whenever they're picking up the phase spider as an alternative, but that same thing is the way they phase is almost completely
disrupts
dissonant. To the Blink
barriers.
Oh, that's super cool. And then you could even have it maybe cancel out. Is that a thing? Okay. Well, I'll hold that. That's there. I found my idea. Okay.
Yeah.
But Sword Spear brings it up in another interesting way for me because, and you just alluded to it as well, is with their intelligence and the way that they approach things, you need to be aware that this isn't the same. These have basically been given to a king to just do whatever, but it's these. These are not just sentient. There's a chance they're sapient and they're fully understanding. And then at that point, you got to free them. That's the plot is having this discussion with these the BPP, the Blink Poodle Pack, and having to figure out what's going on and how to get them out of that scenario.
Yeah. These poor poodles. Yeah. Being forced to work for this king. I like this too because in here Sword Spear is hey, these individuals, he keeps them because they're great for spying. They can, boop in and out, and since they can understand language, they're really useful to have for learning secrets and sneaking around. So it totally makes sense that someone would want to take advantage of that. And good heroes need to stop it, obviously.
Okay, so I don't know if Letter Lost watch it not watches because don't watch. I don't know if they read or have interacted with the Inhumans in the Marvel universe, but they have a big dog named Lockjaw, and he has the ability to teleport. And so in Letter Lost, You Do You, it occurs to me that Blink Dogs cannot teleport across planes. Let's say that the Saint Blink Guards can once per day.
Yeah,
that's a cool.
And also, it does make sense because you kind of wonder. Because in all Blink Dog lore, they talk about, some of them make them from the Feywild, some of them, they can travel between planes, they're these hunting dogs, and you're why can't they, phase shift? So I guess you're assuming that whoever is their, master or something is probably a powerful Fey that can do it, or, someone there. But I like it. It's a good change for a narrative reason, for sure.
Yeah, and the additional narratives are either, if you just don't want to give it to all of them, which I totally understand because that's a lot of power once your players can be on their side.
Hey, take me there.
Yeah. If one, it just takes a certain number of Blink Dogs is interesting to me, or two, it just takes a powerful enough Blink Dog.
Maybe that's the one mechanical change you put on the leader of the pack is the one that can do that, the phase shift or whatever once per day.
Yep. Okay. But that means you and I get to lift the mental weights right now.
Lifting weights is what I do. Look at me. Lift these weights.
You said you had an idea.
What if something stops them from being able to blink?
Yeah.
like their ability to blink has been suppressed for some reason.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you can make that as big or small as you need it to be.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of why it stood out to me of like, oh, well, that's fun. Because it's like, oh, is it just something in this area that's impacting this particular pack? Or is it like something indicative that Magicka as a whole is having an issue?
Yeah.
So like to me, like that's the one that kind of jumped out.
Yeah, I like this idea too, because I was thinking, I was like, man, because as they are right now, you know, blink dogs are pretty harmless, right? I mean, they're, you know, just like a pack of dogs can be really scary, right? But like on their own, blink dogs, nobody's really super concerned. But I was thinking, yeah, what if there was something that magically impeded their normal abilities or magically enhanced their abilities that caused them to become these like bigger, scarier, because they're already smart. So like if there was almost like a lycanthropy sort of disease or something that happened to these creatures, and maybe that's it. Like if somebody is suppressing their normal ability to blink and teleport, right? All of this extra dimensional energy builds up in them and they kind of like Hulk out almost, right? With this crackling like magic force because they can't go anywhere. So they become oversized or feral, you know, and it becomes a real problem as their abilities begin to grow. And all of a sudden the countryside is full of these like rampaging beasts because some wizard or something wanted to make trouble and, you know, put collars on them or whatever that suppressed their blink capabilities.
That's a lot of fun because I agree. I was double checking the math and they are CR a 1/4 piece. This
is why in Tales of the Valley, we're like, why can't they just be, you know, familiars? They're not that intense. I like the story there, especially. And they are fae as well. So there are probably a lot of creatures out there that would be like, yeah, let's take advantage of this weird fairy magic, right? And corrupt it for our own purposes. So maybe it's like a fiend that gets this idea and he has a real, you know, bugaboo against the fae people in general, or it would be something a humanoid would do because the humanoids are always messing around with fairy magic that they shouldn't, right? It's tale as old as time. Somebody gets greedy and starts trying to make these super creatures, right?
I wish there was a much easier way to look at like past editions and how they did it. It's not. And I don't feel like doing it, but I do feel like doing it, but I'm not going to. But in my head, in previous editions, couldn't they just blink all the time? In 5e, it's a 50-50 chance you get to do it again because it's a 4 to 6 roll to recharge.
Yeah, but that resets only in action time, so I would say they can do it unlimited outside of combat.
Oh, but I meant even in combat, I kind of remember them being able to do. But part of it is also you're changing the move economy. I understand what's happening. But I don't like it.
But I don't like it.
Because the whole point is that they can blink.
Yeah.
And the idea that I could get them into a combat scenario, do it once, and then miserably fail my rolls, and them just be a CR 1/4 dog who happened to blink one time is wild to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I would change the recharge or just be like, no, they can do it, and it's okay. Because they are called a blink dog.
In 3.5 edition, I just found their stat block. They could blink as per the spell, and they can evoke or end it as a free action as much as they wanted. So
that's what I remember.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that. Do that.
They could also do Dimension Door in older editions as a free action. So they could do one really big jump teleport, like 500 feet. Interesting. Yeah, so I think maybe, take some inspiration from older editions. And if the blink dogs, something happens to them and they become these scarier, like, whoa, way bigger problem. I also had kind of a bleak idea for this, too. Sort of, what if there was like, 101 Dalmatians situation happening with the blink dogs. And somebody was like, you know what I want? To make a cool magic item that will let me teleport anywhere I want. And so somebody starts like hunting these things and they're, I was like,
same concept. There's only one, as far as I know. Okay. I apologize maybe for this joke, but I'm okay with it. There's more than one way to make a displacement cloak.
Yeah. Oh boy.
But like the idea that that's giving someone a like boots of blinking.
Yeah.
Because you're making boots.
So if there's a really bad news villain that's like, you know, a tracking leather company or whatever, and that's their thing. Like, what if the market starts being flooded with, you know, all of these like teleport items? All of a sudden these magic items are available everywhere, and everyone's like, yeah, cool, awesome, they're so cheap, they're so great, wow. And then it's, oh no, we find out, you know, there's like a farming situation happening somewhere, and the PC's got to get in there and stop that. Maybe even a Fae, you know, who is an ally of the Blink Dogs, or noticed that they're being taken from the Fey Wilds, comes to the mortal plane and it's like, help me, like, I don't know what's happening to my friends. And then you can get in there and free them and stop these bad boys who are doing this.
And then, yeah, kind of coupling it all together is like, this works super well now that we're trying to like genuinely start a campaign with the idea of surrounding Blink Dogs. I think we have like more than enough. Like, you have this pack who's not, because at this point we have terrible people doing terrible things. Often that means terrible research. Yep. So you could easily start out with a pack that can't blink. Yeah. And like, that's your lower level thing. Then you find out like, oh, this is happening at this facility. Yeah. We're going to go kind of stop this, only to then find out that, and this harkens back to one of my favorite fun facts. North America's most dangerous game available are feral cattle. Because in America, we have a tendency to GMO those, and then they're really, really big. Wow, then they get free. Then they harken back to just a more feral state. But the problem is, you just have a yoked out America cow who's willing to kill you. Whoa. And it is North America's most dangerous game is an escaped like cattle.
Whoa, that is an interesting
too big and go back to the old school of you're here, I will kill you now.
We've done it ourselves. We've created monsters.
I also kind of want the negative effect to the players to be that they get blinked. Like, the dog can't blink, but like there's just that built energy, and it forces the PCs to blink when they don't want to be blunk. I don't know, the past.
Yeah. I mean, it could very much, like, if you're talking about wild magic and an opportunity for, like, random tables and bad things to happen, like, this seems like a good time. If somebody's messing with their, you know, inherent fairy teleporting magic, get out that table, that Rod of Wonders table, or you know, these wild magic surges that are really harmful, and start chaos is always a good trigger for starting, you know, some adventure.
I actually used a wild magic table last night cool. at my home table.
Did anyone turn into a potted plant?
No, but so the wizard's obviously going to get the short end of this stick, and she's a newer player, and so it ended up being more fun. By chance, it ended up being more fun than detrimental, because she ended up with a silver tongue, blue hair, and butterflies flying around. Whoa. So she was pretty excited.
Yeah, yeah, that all sounds pretty cool.
The other person ended up in the astral plane for a while. Geez. They were less excited. But yeah, what I quickly realized, though, is like just scouring the internet very quickly, the number of wild magic surge tables that people have created. There was one that was like Ravenloft built. I immediately found something for like things that could happen in the astral plane. I immediately found something that was geared more towards almost any setting I could think of, coupled with just a completely standard, everyday, 1 out of 100 table for magic surges. So yeah, that's and then like you said, the Rod of Wonder, you could just use that instead and call them the Dog of Wonder.
Yeah, there's a lot of great random magic effects have come out. People love them for a reason. So a little research and you'll yield so many choices for what you want.
It's a fun way to like have the feel of the deck of many things without the campaign ruin of the deck of many things.
Yes.
But I mean, okay, we'll round it out. I feel like we've really done the you do you, but what happens if the PCs aren't able to help or choose not to help? That's a wild thought.
Yeah. I mean, I think it gets worse. Like, right, if these Blink Dogs, their abilities have been suppressed or even they're in captivity, right? And because fairy magic cannot be controlled, right? I think, you know, these humanoids or whoever are doing this to these dogs, like, they're just, you know, more and more is going to happen. And I think if we're talking about like wild surges, you know, and chaos, I think the effects get worse if the PCs don't do anything. You know, at first it's, oh no, villagers are blinking around places, but like what if portals start opening up, right? Like, and monsters start popping through, you know, because reality is, the planes are getting messed up and things are happening.
That makes me, I mean, it makes me think of, well, I finished watching Stranger Things. It does make me think of everything that harkens back to like the Upside Down. You could easily have it where like the Feywild and the material plane start merging because this is not good. And yeah, like you said, portals, or even just portals opening to other planes.
Yeah, and monsters coming through that aren't supposed to be there, or random holes appearing in reality people step into and fall into the void, and it's like, whoa, you know. Weird storms, magic storms start, you know, like ravaging the land, and toads falling from the sky, and just wrongness.
It'll be fine. Everyone will have a good time.
This is fine, PCs. Good job ignoring this.
And that is always a huge piece of advice. It doesn't work for every campaign. It doesn't work for every table. But like if you do have, I feel like if you have a decent player buy-in, in theory, the world should exist without them.
That's the secret to making a good world that feels real, that there are things that are happening in the background.
But to toot a different horn that I play, Whelmed, The Young Justice Files is a different podcast I do. But one of the things about that show that I've always felt is that it is a world that exists and we have the opportunity to look in on it through the show. Because there was like a 5-year time gap and things happen in those 5 years and you just happen to be showing up after that 5 years has happened and you get to look back in on this world that is going to continue with or without you. And I think the same thing here. And I know, man, I wish I could credit better. I want to say it was Sean Merwin because he does a little bit of like between the screens kind of thing. And in early 5th edition, he was running multiple hardcover books at the same time. And based on what the players did or did not choose to do,
cool.
those negative events would continue to transpire without their interaction.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you are trying to stop Tiamat over here.
Yeah.
Well,
Baldur's Gate is
is
falling into hell.
It is in fact descending into Avernus because you didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything.
Or is it like, then you moved over and you're helping the Baldur's Gate, but to the north, don't forget the Rime of the Frost Maiden.
Yeah. Eternal winter is creeping now out of the mountains and traveling south, and you're like, because nobody's stopping Earl from doing her thing. Yeah. Oh,
so,
wow, cool.
So like that's the same concept I think here of like if you just, and it also benefits you as the person running the game because it's like, okay, all that stuff, all this time and effort I invested, you zigged when I thought you should zag.
But we can come back to that later, right? Next time you want to go, you go to that southern city and it's being ravaged by magic storms.
Yeah, or just not there.
It'll come back. Yep. Or it's phasing in and out of reality, and people are like, wow, that's a very like Star Trek kind of thing. We totally do that. Yeah. A city that exists in place only one day out of the month or whatever. Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Okay. But we've done it.
Yes.
But if you enjoyed this, you can always head over to your podcatcher of choice. Leave us a rating and review. Like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that bell. I don't know. One day we might go on video, but not today.
Not today.
And if you wanted to tell us about how you've been using Blink Dogs or other creatures to build out a campaign, as always, you can email us at dungeonmasterblock@gmail.com. And of course, if you head over to social media, woof. Oh my. You know what? Don't. I'll give it to you. Don't. Please don't. Go outside. See the world. Talk to another human face to face, please.
Help your friends. Be kind to your neighbors.
When you're done doing that, you can always find us at DMS_block. And I am at JokeManiac.
Yeah, and you can find me at C. Conowitch. And for everything else on the network, just go to blockpartypodcastnetwork.com. And as always, a big thank you to the bards over on Bombarded for our intro and outro music. You can find out more about them at bombardedcast.com.
And of course, rather than let these mental gains go to waste, let's head to taking your supplements.
Taking your supplements.
Taking your supplements. It's dark in here. Did we already turn the lights off?
Did we? Oh, wait, it's night time. Uh-oh. So scary. The lights, they're flickering. Oh no, someone's cut the power. The call is coming from inside the house.
Yay!
If you enjoyed this bit, you will enjoy what I'm about to tell you. So
and
right
if
now,
you're too young for this bit,
Yeah,
the
you're
reason
too
the
young
call's
for
coming
this
from
bit.
inside the house is
It's
back
just
in
a
the day,
landline.
we used to have phones.
yeah,
Lately, I've been
or in
hearing
your
people-
house.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
I mean, we're getting to the point where it's like, oh man, I'm old man shouting at clouds sometimes because some people are like, so what we've done is we have a phone that we keep at the house at all times.
Mhm.
I'm like, that's super expensive. That's just an extra cell phone.
Yeah.
Just buy a landline. It'll be okay.
It'll be okay.
But enough
anyway.
of that nonsense because I want to hear about,
Yeah.
because I'm a huge fan of horror, not the word because it's very difficult to say on a podcast
Yes.
and not get myself in trouble,
Mhm.
but as a campaign setting and elements to sprinkle in to make my games better. Tell me more.
So yes, I'm stealing the mic today to tell you about a little project I'm working on that is right now kickstarting. So Kobold Press has just launched their Kickstarter for Night Hunters, which is a gothic horror / horror in general toolkit for players and game masters. Basically, an entire kit of everything you need to run horror games at your table. This book includes a ton of new player options. It is a Tales of the Valiant book, but 100% compatible with D&D 5th edition 2024 or 2014. So if you're running D&D, if you're running Tales of the Valiant, you can use everything in this book to get awesome player options. We have a ton of tools to help you transform, these high fantasy games into successful horror campaigns. New mechanics like the shadow token system that basically allows you to reward players for leaning into horror tropes, gives them a mechanical benefit to maybe, step into the darkness or go alone or, read the Latin in the scary book. Things that really get people involved with the horror. We also, in this book, include 13 dread villains, which are, beyond really great, cool, epic stat blocks of, things like the vampire. Like our dread vampire is, a CR 19, elevated final boss level version of your standard vampire lord. They also come with schemes and agendas and unique lieutenant monsters and unique minions and rewards. So basically everything you need to build these great sweeping adventure arcs or campaign arcs around some of the biggest, villainous evil tropes of all time.
See earlier in this episode on how to do everything you just said.
Yep, exactly. So Night Hunters is live right now. We've already reached our funding goal, which is fantastic, but we have 19 days to go as of recording this. So the last day to back is February 13th, 2026. So we would love if you would go and check out the project, or if you know somebody who enjoys gothic horror, any of you have been a Ravenloft fan in the past, this book will absolutely help you out. And what's great about it is it's also setting agnostic. So you could use this immediately in your home campaign, or if you're running a Ravenloft campaign or a Grim Hollow campaign, this is going to give you so much fun stuff to enhance and make those games even better and spookier.
Okay, the one that stood out to me. So can I pry? Can I pry about something I see?
Oh yes.
So tell me more about the grave rot, because it definitely gave me WoW flashbacks of playing the undead.
Yes. So that's essentially what they are. So I should say also, I'm biased because 1, I work at Kobold Press. 2, I'm the lead designer on this book. So I wrote a lot of this, including the grave rot lineage.
Oh, tell me more.
Yeah, which is...
okay, I didn't know that, by the way. Listener, I had no idea.
Yeah.
I just found out.
Yeah, so we didn't set this up, but so it's a new lineage option where essentially you are playing a character who was made of the dead parts of humanoids stitched back together, and then, your soul was called back from the worlds of the dead and put into this new corpse body, essentially. So it's very much, your Frankenstein's monster sort of character, right? And having to deal with that. And you get some really cool and wild abilities. Like, for instance, you can remove your limbs and they have limited control movement. So if you want to make your own creeping hand, right? You can do that. It's kind of like a Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas sort of deal. You can actually remove your head. And you can be reassembled too. So it's really hard for you to die in general. But so that's just one of the lineage, / species options available to characters. If you pick up this book, we also have, the Hexen in there, who are people created by hag magic. So that is one of the lineage choices. We also have the Return of the Darkul, which are these humanoids, which are sort of half ghouls. You know, most of the time when you're bitten by a ghoul, you just awaken as another ghoul. But these ones actually have sentience and remember who they are and have to deal with all of the nasty ghoul urges that come with that. So it's just a lot of really great stuff. And, you know, some of the dread villains in here too, like I got to make a sentient murder house villain. So it's like
nice,
a dungeon and a villain all in one, right? Like the house is trying to kill you while you're inside. It's just a lot of really great stuff. And we would really, really appreciate, you know, your support or just shouting it out.
Yeah. The Grave Rot, there's so many things you could do with that. Like, did you enjoy playing Planescape Torment and you kind of want to do something like the Nameless one?
Here you go.
The second you told me you're grabbing a soul and putting it in, it's like, all right, all bets are off. Every narrative option I ever want is available to me because it's like, look, are none of these my parts?
Yeah.
This is just the soul they intended to bring in here. Do you pull parts or not pull parts, but like pieces of memory because you have these, like there's literally a thing called muscle memory.
Yeah.
And so like, is that what's echoing in your brain and you're fighting for control? Cause you could do that. You want to do a split personality type thing.
Or we could have it, the person who created you was trying to put a different soul, somebody who came back and yours happened to go in there. And that relationship and that resentment. Wow. You know, there's a lot of stories ripe for gothic horror tragedy around these characters for sure. So lots of options like that, you know, how to hunt the night, you know, all of these new magic tools for slaying the worst things that, you know, humans have ever cooked up, and really some big ritual level magic to stop them, and all kinds of cool stuff, new subclasses. We have we have like a Shadow Oracle, kind of a tarot deck mechanic in here. You can actually buy the deck. It's beautiful and it interacts with things. We have a spirit board element to the game. So like you can use a ritual spell. You can actually buy a separate spirit board too and ask, you know, like Ouija board style questions with this ritual and use it for your games. It's a lot of fun stuff. Just check it out. If nothing else, the art is super cool to look at.
Okay, this is another fun fact that I feel is extremely important because I feel like sometimes people will hear the spirit board, which is akin to the Ouija board, and be turned off by this. I would like everyone to know that the Ouija board was created in Baltimore by a bunch of businessmen in 1890.
Yep.
It's not, in fact, what you think it is.
No, it's sold as a toy now by Hasbro. We legally actually can't say Ouija board because that is a term owned by them. It's a toy.
Exactly. Because it is not. It's never been what you thought it was. It's not this ancient esoteric thing. It's literally invented by a group of businessmen
for slumber parties. So don't worry about it.
You'll be all right. Also, I would play a Grave Rot whose ultimate goal was to finally rest again, and the only way they could do it would be by obtaining their original parts.
Ooh, wow, yeah.
So throughout the campaign, I'm finding the pieces of me. I'm sure that's like a Taylor Swift song or something like that.
Pieces of me.
All right, I'm gonna look it up. I guarantee you.
Avril Lavigne under my skin.
Pieces of me. Oh, even better. It's Ashley Simpson's song. Incredible. Pieces of Me. Great. Man, I want to rename the whole episode now. But the idea of like taking them and being like fair trade, having to fight the person, or just finding it. Like there's so many options. But the ultimate goal is once I get all my parts back, I can finally rest again.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, we've done it.
We've done it.
But with that, the lights are already out. Don't worry about it. But
so
before
dark.
we go, I want to implore you, the listener, to join forums, the Discord, social media, and anywhere else you can find us and take part in these challenges and exercises being had.
To do that, head over to bit.ly/DM banter and try some DM-Nastics so your players don't ask, do you even lift?